the cataracts.
Hoewel het voetbalseizoen is afgelopen, trapte EA Sports vorige week af voor zijn nieuwe editie van FIFA. De serie die samen met het Japanse Pro Evolution Soccer elk jaar weer vecht om de gratie van voetbalminnende gamers, belooft dit jaar weer te doen waar het de afgelopen jaren veel succes mee heeft gehad, namelijk luisteren naar de community en het verbeteren van de gameplay. Het verdedigen in FIFA 12 is behoorlijk veranderd. Het is niet meer mogelijk om simpelweg één knop in te drukken als je de bal wil afpakken en dat is best een gewaagde set van FIFA-producer David Rutter.
The old defending system, as soon as you press the press button, a bunch of stuff happens. So the player is launched out of defense. He leaves a hole at the back, which against a good player can be exploited very quickly. Which means that you have no discipline in your defensive line, and that's not a good thing. The second part of it is that, you know, for the guy attacking, there's this overwhelming sense of urgent pressure, which meant that people were button mashing to get the ball around, and led to, even with the introduction of pro passing last year, still a sense that perhaps there was too much ping pong passing. And also it's not very football-y. So for someone that feels that the new tactical defending is too hard, it's likely that they feel it's too hard because they've played a great deal of FIFA past. And I would hope that overwhelmingly the feedback we've had is that the old press defending is too powerful, mindless, and not particularly rewarding. Basically, you got the ball or didn't, and that's not really a good video game in our mind. And then the player impact engine for me is important because not only does it allow very accurate, very beautiful animations when collisions occur, when those two parts of that trinity come together, but also that we have nuance now, which means that small collisions will result in smaller collisions on the screen, but those crunching tackles will obviously be visualized in full detail too.
Een ander onderdeel dat voor FIFA 12 is veranderd is de manier waarop spelers blessures oplopen. De engine zorgt er bijvoorbeeld voor dat spelers realistische blessures overhouden aan hun buitenlingen en spelers kunnen nu ook zelf blessures oplopen als ze ondanks vermoeidheid toch constant blijven sprinten.
There's two parts to the injuries. One is the true injuries feature that we've sort of spoken to people about, which is we can now harvest data from the player during a collision to know how hard, where and what effect that collision had on their body. And that allows us to very accurately determine whether or not someone would have been injured or not. Naturally that means that, you know, big nasty looking collisions may well result in an increased likelihood of an injury happening than perhaps in the past. But similarly, because we have nuance in the collisions, smaller little knocks are obviously less likely to result in damage to a player. The self-injury that we showed is something that will happen rarely. It's in the game at the moment. I would be surprised if one has happened today because during a standard game, it's highly unlikely that you will have depleted a player so much that it would happen. But in the context of, say, a career mode where you're fielding the same players week in, week out, and you're not giving them enough time to recover, then those minor injuries may occur slightly more frequently than you know, a kind of a self-injury might happen in previous game before. It's just something that's gonna happen rarely.
Een van de kritiekpunten op de laatste edities van FIFA is dat er nauwelijks verbetering of verandering is aan het uiterlijk van de game. Hoewel de focus bij het ontwikkelteam vooral ligt op het verbeteren van de gameplay, is er bij Rutter wel degelijk de intentie om FIFA ook visueel fris te houden.
So we've done a lot of work in the graphics this year, and I think we don't do a brilliant job of promoting those sides of things because as the team have kind of made a mantra of gameplay. So we talk about gameplay a lot, which is why we're doing it now. The improvements to the look and the graphics of the game this year are multifaceted. We've changed the total look of the front end this year to something faster, more responsive, and generally more aesthetically pleasing. And I think our fans will appreciate that. We've had a kind of standard look to the menu systems for a long time now, and that's changed. We've also done a lot of work with our partners in all different countries, capturing more teams to put more star heads in, which is always good, using our new camera system. And we've also been looking at camera angles and lighting in the game. So you may have noticed there's quite a distinctive new look to the camera angle this year. We feel it adds more depth to the game, allows you to spot plays better. The angle on goal is improved, I think. You've got a better sense of where the goal is. It's not as flat. Helps you identify the players as well as the plays, and we're really happy with the way it looks, as well as the presentation aspects. We've got a nice broadcast package in there to help with. So there's a lot of work gone into that, and we're continuing to do more and more.
Het ontwikkelteam achter FIFA 12 werkt vanuit de EA-studio's in Vancouver, ver weg van de bakermat van het voetbal. Toch proberen Rutter en zijn team regelmatig voetbalwedstrijden te bekijken, omdat ze dat belangrijk vinden voor een ontwikkelaar van een voetbalgame.
I watch as much Premier League football as I can on the weekend. We're lucky in Canada and Vancouver to have a number of broadcasters broadcasting that, so I can get up slightly early on a Saturday and watch the games, which is great. UEFA Champions League games are on during our lunch times, which is good as well. We have TVs in our offices so we can watch them. And similarly, generally speaking, the World Cup is accessible, as is the Euro stuff. I'm also lucky enough to have tickets to the Champions League final, so I will be going along to New Wembley on Saturday to watch that game. I can see the guys over there celebrating because he has a ticket too. So yeah, we go to as many games and watch as much as we can. The team take a lot of inspiration from the real sport. We have 18 nationalities on our team, so every day someone somewhere has got something to say about football in their area. And are broadcasting it via the email saying, go to this YouTube clip. We've got to put in the clip from this minute to this minute. It really needs to be in the game this year, next year, whenever. So, we're lucky that we have such a rich source of inspiration for us.